Welcome back. I'm Selena Hart, and I'm truly glad you've chosen to spend this moment with me today. If you're here, Scorpio, trust that it's not by accident. Something in you was guided to receive this message, and it carries exactly what you need to hear. As we enter May 16th, 2025, the energy around you is beginning to shift. It may not announce itself with fireworks or dramatic changes, but its presence is unmistakable. You might sense it in the stillness, in a pause that feels heavier than usual, or in a subtle pull inward. This is not just another day. It's a gentle invitation from the universe to slow down, pay closer attention, and reconnect with the quiet truth within you. And as we move deeper into today's message, I'll help you understand why this internal nudge matters and how it's pointing you towards something deeply transformative. Scorpio, the astrology of May 16th turns inward, illuminating the quiet spaces of your inner world. With the moon moving through your privacy sector, this is a time when the emotional undercurrents, the ones you don't always show on the surface, begin to rise. Old memories may resurface unexpectedly. Feelings you thought were already processed might echo back, not to unsettle you, but to ask for a more honest conversation. Even regret, something you've tried to leave in the past, may come forward again, not as punishment, but as an opportunity to acknowledge what still needs healing. And you might find yourself withdrawing from the noise around you, feeling less interested in external demands and more attuned to what's happening within. This isn't avoidance. It's your soul signaling that you need time and space, not to escape, but to reflect. There's a reason the world feels a little quieter today. The pace has slowed, not because you've lost momentum, but because your emotional compass needs realignment. When you give yourself permission to pause, you make room for deeper clarity to emerge. This is not a day to make quick moves or chase validation. Instead, it's a chance to soften into stillness and reconnect with what's real for you emotionally. Rather than react to what's happening externally, let your first instinct be to listen to your body, to your intuition, and to the quiet feelings that arise when you're no longer rushing ahead. What surfaces today may not need immediate answers, but it deserves your attention. The universe is giving you a moment of stillness, not to delay progress, but to prepare you for what's next. And it starts by returning to your emotional center. In the realm of work and finances, Scorpio, today may seem uneventful on the surface, quiet, subdued, maybe even a little uncertain. But don't mistake stillness for stagnation. Just because you're not seeing outward movement doesn't mean progress isn't being made. The truth is, something beneath the surface is beginning to shift, especially if you've been waiting patiently for clarity, direction, or a breakthrough in your career or financial life. Today marks the early stirrings of change. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but it's there. A gentle repositioning of energy that will become clearer as the month unfolds. Instead of pushing for answers or trying to force outcomes, today calls for intentional reflection. This is the time to step back and reassess. What have you been prioritizing in your work? Where has your energy been going? And is it truly giving back in return? You may find that certain patterns, whether financial habits or work routines, are no longer aligned with the future you're trying to build. But this awareness doesn't need to lead to drastic change today. In fact, it's the small adjustments, the shifts in mindset, the reallocation of time or money, the quiet decision to say no to what drains you that will unlock far more significant progress in the days ahead. Ask yourself honestly, where do I need to tighten things up? Is there a leak in my energy, my budget, or my boundaries that I've been ignoring? These questions may feel confronting, but they are essential. You're being asked to lay the foundation for a more stable and sustainable path forward, not by doing more, but by doing better. And better begins with clarity. Financially, this is a good day to review spending, revisit neglected goals, or recommit to a strategy that aligns with your long-term vision. Career-wise, it may not be time to leap, but it is the perfect moment to prepare, to clean up, clear out, and make room for opportunities that are on their way. Think of today as a quiet recalibration, The more intentional you are now, the more powerfully you'll be able to respond when momentum picks up later this month. Trust that this calm isn't a delay, it's a gift. And the work you do in this space of stillness will create the conditions for real, lasting growth. When it comes to love, Scorpio, today doesn't ask for grand gestures or sweeping declarations. Instead, it invites a quieter, more meaningful kind of connection, the kind that begins with you. The energy surrounding your relationships right now is reflective and introspective. Whether you're single, committed, or somewhere in between, the focus isn't so much on what's happening externally, but on what's unfolding inside your emotional world. This is a moment for checking in with your heart, not to dramatize its contents, but to listen with honesty and compassion. Ask yourself gently, are your emotional needs being met? Not just the surface ones, affection, attention, validation, but the deeper ones. The need to feel safe, to be understood, to be seen for who you truly are without shrinking or pretending. And just as importantly, are you showing up in a way that allows someone else to meet those needs? Emotional clarity begins with self-awareness, and today offers the space to explore what you've been feeling, but maybe haven't put into words. If you're in a relationship, this could be a good day to have an honest, unhurried conversation, not about what needs to be fixed or what's lacking, but about where your hearts really are. Are you holding back something out of fear? Are you assuming things instead of asking? Even a small moment of emotional honesty can shift the dynamic in a powerful way. Remember, it's not about perfect answers. It's about showing up with sincerity and presence. Even if you don't have everything figured out. And if you're single, this energy is equally important. Use it to reconnect with your emotional values. Are you looking for connection from a grounded place or from a place of longing to escape loneliness? Have you clarified what matters most to you in love? Not just the kind of partner you want, but the kind of relationship you're willing to grow and nurture. The more in tune you are with your own emotional rhythm, the more naturally you'll attract someone who resonates with it. Ultimately, Scorpio, today is about emotional honesty. Not the kind that demands you say everything all at once, but the kind that invites you to stop avoiding what you already know inside. Love, in its truest form, grows best in spaces where truth is welcomed, and that begins with welcoming your own. This inner alignment is the foundation for any lasting connection, and today is offering you the chance to strengthen it quietly, gently, truthfully. Scorpio, if you're feeling a dip in your energy today, don't panic, and more importantly, don't push yourself to override it. This isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's not laziness, weakness, or a failure to keep up. It's a message, a gentle but clear one from your body, your mind, and your heart, asking for something different, asking for space, for slowness, for a pause in the constant doing so you can come back to simply be absolutely low. There's a tendency, especially for someone as intense and driven as you, to equate stillness with stagnation or to feel guilt when you're not constantly producing, fixing, or transforming. But today reminds you that true healing, the kind that actually sustains you, comes from listening, not reacting. If your body is tired, it's because it needs recovery. If your thoughts feel foggy, it's because your mind is craving simplicity. If your heart feels heavy or numb, it may be because you haven't given it space to breathe. You don't need to do anything grand to honor this. Sometimes just stepping away from the noise, digital, emotional, or even internal, for 10 minutes can shift everything. A few slow, intentional breaths, a short walk outside without headphones, putting pen to paper without a goal, just to see what your inner world wants to say. These small acts aren't distractions. They're doorways back to yourself. They help you regulate, reset, and remember that your worth is not tied to your output. Healing today doesn't come through discipline or intensity. It comes through softness, through grounded choices that bring you back into balance. Maybe it's saying no to one more task. Maybe it's choosing warm food, silence, or solitude instead of stimulation. The most powerful thing you can do for yourself right now is not to push harder. It's to create conditions where your energy can naturally return. So let yourself slow down. Be honest about what's depleting you and what's quietly calling you back to center. You're not falling behind. You're being recalibrated. And honoring that rhythm isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Scorpio, the core theme threading through today's energy is emotional clarity through discomfort. The kind of insight that doesn't arrive wrapped in peace, but in moments that unsettle you just enough to make you pause. There may be something seemingly small, a delayed message, a quiet comment, a dream you can't shake, that triggers a deeper emotional response than you expected. You might find yourself suddenly uneasy, confused, or even reactive without fully understanding why. And that's exactly the doorway the universe is opening for you. Instead of pushing those feelings aside or brushing them off with logic, today invites you to sit with them. Even if they're inconvenient or uncomfortable, ask yourself, what is this teaching me about what I still carry? The question isn't meant to solve everything at once, but to start peeling back the emotional layers you've gotten used to walking around with. Sometimes we think we've moved on from something, a wound, a disappointment, an old belief, only to discover that it still lives quietly in the corners of our psyche, waiting for the right moment to resurface. You might realize as you reflect that you've been avoiding a feeling not out of weakness, but out of sheer habit. Am I avoiding something I actually need to feel? This isn't an accusation. It's an invitation. There's no shame in sidestepping emotional discomfort. We all do it in different ways. But when the universe gives you a moment like this, a mirror held up by your own reaction, it's a rare and valuable chance to learn more about yourself. And that awareness, even in its rawest form, is where healing begins. You don't need immediate answers. You don't need to fix everything today. Simply asking the questions is the work. That small moment of presence when you stop long enough to acknowledge that something inside is stirring is enough. It tells your inner world, I see you. I'm willing to listen now. And from that place, deeper clarity will begin to emerge, not through force, but through trust. Trust in your emotional intelligence, trust in your capacity to hold what's real, and trust in the process of being shaped by even the hardest truths. Scorpio, if we were to interpret today's energy through the language of the stars rather than the cards, we'd still arrive at a message strikingly similar to that of the Hermit. Astrologically, this is a day of intentional retreat. Not because you're meant to withdraw from life, but because something meaningful is trying to emerge from within, and it can only do so in silence. With the moon moving through the most private corner of your chart, the cosmos is nudging you inward, not to isolate you, but to create space. Space to think without interruption, space to feel without pressure, space to be honest with yourself without the noise of other people's opinions clouding your clarity. This isn't about loneliness or avoidance. It's about aligning with a deeper rhythm, one that values stillness as part of the cycle of growth. There may be something that's been lingering just beneath the surface, an emotional decision you've been postponing, a truth you've sensed but haven't wanted to face, or a boundary you know you need to set but haven't found the right words for. You don't have to solve it all today, but you do need to make room for it. The stars are offering you a kind of sacred pause, a window of time where reflection can become revelation, where inner guidance becomes clearer. If you're willing to quiet the world around you, even if nothing dramatic appears to be happening, trust that a deeper process is unfolding. This kind of day isn't about external progress or performance. It's about preparing your inner foundation for the next phase. And in order to do that, you need honest space. This might look like stepping away from the demands of others, creating gentle structure around your day, or simply taking time to ask yourself, what's really going on beneath the surface? Yeah, you don't need an answer right away, only the willingness to listen. And the truth is, Scorpio, when you give yourself the grace to stop rushing, what you've been searching for often rises to meet you. Not in chaos, not in pressure, but in the quiet where the real transformation begins. Scorpio, it's important to remember that not every day is meant for action, ambition, or forward motion. As much as you crave depth and transformation, even your journey has seasons of stillness, moments when the most meaningful progress doesn't come from doing more, but from realigning with who you truly are. Today is one of those days. The cosmic energy isn't pushing you to leap ahead. It's inviting you to pause, reflect, and recalibrate. You may feel like you are in a kind of in-between space. Not quite where you were, but not yet where you want to be. And that can feel uncomfortable. You might catch yourself wanting to force clarity, to rush toward the next milestone, or to make something happen just to escape the tension of uncertainty. But here's the truth. Real growth often happens in the moments when nothing seems to be happening at all. It's in the pause that you regain your inner footing. It's in the silence that your next steps begin to reveal themselves, not through control, but through quiet trust. So take the pressure off yourself. You don't need to figure it all out right now. You don't need to fix, perform, or prove anything today. What you do need is the courage to stay present, to let this moment be what it is without rushing to the next. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to not know. The space between clarity and action, the space you're in right now, it's not wasted time. It's sacred ground, a liminal place where healing, insight, and emotional truth begin to reorganize your path from the inside out. Today. So be gentle with yourself, honor the slowness, trust the pause. You're not falling behind, you're realigning, and that's a sacred part of your growth. If this message resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing how today's energy is showing up for you. I read every word, and it helps us continue building this space of depth, healing, and clarity together. Until next time, take care of your spirit, listen to your truth, and keep walking with trust. I'll see you soon.